Alrighty, hi everybody, let's settle in and let's get to work. We're basically going to be doing the same thing we did yesterday, which is focusing on these two pages. I don't have like a lot of energy today, so the main thing I'm going to be focusing on is this particular panel up here. That way I can mark this particular page as done, save for maybe like a small editing of sound effects. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Let's do it! I should probably double check and see if I'm pretty sure my overlay updated with the new subscriber count. Yes. Yeah, check that out, guys. We had 6 more subscribers today than we did yesterday, which is always really awesome. Always makes me feel good when I can say that. So I just lost my pen. There it is. Alrighty. One second. Okay, sorry about that. My pen, like, fell off, and I didn't know where my pen was. Alright, so let me find the layers here really quick. I'm gonna put all of the sketches in their own, folder here, just so that, oopsie. Put all the sketches in their own folder, that way they're, like, that way I can, like, make them, like, more transparent together. Gonna make my life easier than oh my goodness. Alright, let's see here. So the big thing is, like, I'm gonna get... This really shouldn't take all that long. There's not, like, a ton of detail in this. So let me start with the foreground. So we have a couple things here. We have the foreground, which is, like, this bamboo here. And then this is the top of the gate that she's standing on. It's the top of, like, this thing. That you can see, like, that's behind Aros. Like, Rin is standing on top of it. I have no idea what this is. So we have our foreground, which is like the bamboo, and then this like gate that Rin was standing on, and then we have Aros and like the background stone texture that is. If you look at the very bottom, you can see the gate there, and then like the ground where Aros is technically standing. Basically, all that happens is like Rin like talks to him, he turns around and it's like, oh gosh, like if I don't have enough other things to do, and then he vanishes. So what is this song? Oh my goodness. I was literally called Your Lullaby, that's funny. It's what it sounded like. Okay, cool, let me get this bamboo going. Alright, what I usually do is so the bamboo in, Godsbane can be, like, a lot of the bamboo in the area I like to have as black bamboo, which is real. It is a very real thing, which is really cool, actually. What I'll do is I'll probably draw in, like, just a really quick, loose, like, I have this bamboo brush that I really like. And so what I'll do is I'll draw this in, and then I'll go in and, like, edit the detail myself. Because if you notice, when we draw this, it doesn't draw it in proper perspective. So basically what I'm doing is I'm drawing in this to get like a basic idea of like just the basic shape, and then I have to go in later and then like fix the perspective on it. But it's alright if it's like not 100% perfect the first time. I'm just looking at getting the basic shapes in, and then I can go in and like redraw this myself to make like the perspective right. I don't worry too much about that. I could definitely just like I do have a 3D model that I use for this kind of stuff, and I could in theory just like trace it out and like have that be the line art that I use, but that's just not something I'd like to do. It's just not my vibe, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna make a second layer here so I can layer this a little bit with some smaller ones. I'll just leave that as it is, and then we'll just focus on adding like the leaves and stuff to like put in this shape here. So what I'll do is first let's fix the perspective on these. So what I do is I just only edit out the very center part. That way I know where the nodes are. I don't like completely fix it, because we need to make this look like it's in proper perspective, right? So I just edit out most of it, just enough to where I can see where the nodes are still. And what I do is when I'm using the 3D models, I draw in what the perspective should be. So now what I'll do is I'll minimize this a little bit just so that I can see what those angles are. I'll go in with white, and then I will manually draw that in based on what I saw on the 3D model. This way the perspective stays correct. And sometimes it's going back and forth until you get it just right. For example, here you can see it was going up. So I'll have to go in and fix that a little bit better. It's kind of a game sometimes. You're gonna have to like play around with it to get the exact look that you want. Actually, let me make that a little bit steeper. Because if your perspective looks off, then it'll look really weird and uncanny valley stuff. People won't know why it looks weird, and it'll just put them off to it. This is sort of like how I mix in like using 3D models with my own art. Is I use the 3D models just as like a base, but I never rely on them 100% for all of the art that I do. It's just a base, it's just to help me get the sketch, and then I'll do the rest on my own. So now we have the perspective looking a little bit better. They're still going away slightly. So basically, oops, let me get the black lines here. So basically if this is the bamboo and this is the, like here's our gate, the bamboo is tilted slightly a little bit. Like it's never 100% straight. I mean, it's usually pretty straight, but bamboo bends. I mean, that's what it's infamous for, right? So it's always going to tilt away slightly or tilt towards slightly. Like it's never going to be perfect straight. And if you only have your bamboo only looking perfectly straight, then that's a little weird. It's a little too perfect. Nature isn't such. Oh, it's Hisashi-san. Love that Hisashi-san uses emojis now, that's funny. Okay, cool. So now that I've got this put in, what I'm gonna do, I'm a little bit like less picky when it comes to the brushes, or like the leaves. So with the bamboo itself, there's quite a few different types of leaf brushes that I have. I've got this one, I've got this one, which is a little bit more angular. I actually like to angle this one slightly, so what I'll do is like with something like this, I'll put it down and then I'll just like rotate it. if you look really closely, I'll enlarge this, you guys can see it. There's, it's called a raki, like the stem, basically. You can see that just a little bit. Usually what I'll do is I'll just tilt it like this a little. Make this a little smaller so it'll fit in here. Make this a little smaller, and then it can fit in here like this. Or I can put it on top. Either one will work, honestly. Like, you wanna mix it up a little bit. You don't want to just have all of the leaves behind it or all of the leaves in front of it, because that just looks a little weird. So probably what I would end up doing is something like this. Let's see. I want this to come out of the node spot, so we'll leave that there. And usually what I'll do is I'll make a bunch of layers. That way I can move the leaves around. I can put them forward and backward. Just keep up the variety a bit. And this one's a lot more different. This is for more like the very top of bamboo, because bamboo is just a grass. And at the, like, eventually all of, like, the leaves are gonna start, like, drooping because there's just so much. If you guys haven't seen what I'm talking about, here's another brush that kind of shows, like, an example of how, like, this is one side. So we want to do, like, this is basically what bamboo looks like. Like, it's, like, a really long stem. Like, think of it as, like, a really weird fancy fern is basically sort of like what bamboo is. And so you want to, like, have a variety. Like, that's what bamboo actually looks like. So you want to keep a wide variety. You want to keep it, like, don't just draw just, like, the stem and the leaves. Like, keep it varied up a little bit. So I have a whole bunch of different bamboo brushes that I can use to, like, help it, you know, like, look more varied. And then I also have some of, like, brushes like these that are, like, just the leaves and stuff that I can use to also help vary that up a little bit. So I'm gonna have to enlarge this so that it's the same size as everything else. The downside, though, is you can see that this looks a lot different from the drawing style of what's on the left. So always keep that in mind if you're gonna start mixing and matching your brushes together. Like, it's better to try to find ones that look really similar. So for example, this one looks a lot more similar to what I already have. So I'll probably stick with something like this. And what this does is this one just, like, adds some variety to it so that they don't all, like, look exactly the same. What I'll probably do, actually, is I'll shrink this. I think it's a little too big, now that I'm kind of looking at it. It'll just depend on how close it is to us in perspective, so I'm gonna change that up a little bit. And what I'm doing is, so that you guys understand my thought process here, what I'm doing is I'm setting this up so that things point to Aros. Or, like, it creates this sort of, like, window here where, like, he's the focus, right? Like, this is the focus. There'll be a lot of shadow here, so there will be a lot of stuff that you won't be able to see, like, in this area. Like, this area isn't really going to have anything special in it, because I want the focus to be, like, this, right? So, and when I'm done, ultimately what will happen here, again, just kind of like explaining my thought behind this. When that's all done, there's going to be, let me get a bigger brush. There's going to be shadow in here. I mean, it won't be a black shadow, but there'll be shadow here. So that way the focus is what's in this area here. This will be what the focus is, because that's the most important information. Hi, Justin. What's up? You know me, just rambling about stuff. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. It's gonna be a shorter stream today, just because I have a bunch of stuff I gotta do. Sorry. I had a message I had to respond to for work reasons. My apologies. Anyway, so I'll go in and start adding in like brushes like this to just sort of like fill out the space a little bit. And again, I'm watching like the type of leaves that I'm using because I want to be sure they like are as consistent as possible. And if I have to, I can go in to the leaves I already have and I can edit them to like match more the style that I already have going on, so I'm not super worried about that. Oh, it's not? Can you hear me okay? That's frustrating that the song wasn't on. Was it a you thing or a me thing? Because if it's a me thing, I need to know. I haven't changed anything. It says that my mic is on. Let me see. Did my thing come undone maybe? See properties. Yeah, it's got the right microphone. Sorry, Justin. I've been yapping about drawing backgrounds and bamboo and stuff. It's a quiet night tonight, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. I just fill the void with narration of what I'm doing, so you didn't miss out on much. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know, Gabby. How are you doing? Oh, okay, cool. I was like, oh no! I was gonna say, that would be so typical of me to sit here and be talking to literally nobody because my stuff isn't, like, turned on properly. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. Being sick is rough, especially when, like, you're used to being productive and stuff, so get some rest and I hope you feel better. So let me put this up here, and then I'll move this one down here. It's all about, like, finding the right balance of the shape. Making it aesthetically pleasing. But also, like, have all the information in there that you want it to have. I feel like this would be fine. Let me try hiding this one. Yeah, looks good. Alright, and then what I'll do to kind of help with the layering a little bit, is I'll go in, I'm actually going to minimize this just a little bit, or not minimize it. I'm going to change the opacity a little bit, and I'm going to go on top with a white, I think there's nothing on this layer, right? Yep. I'm going to go on top with a small white brush, And I'm going to draw in some white lines just to help give it like just a little bit of like separate it out from other things. Should figure out what layer this is. Oh, I need to put that on its own layer. Let me grab this really quick, guys. I can put this on its own layer. It'll be a little bit easier this way. I think it's this one. Actually, I'm gonna put this on top because it is the topmost layer. And then, yeah. So let me go over this. So now I can actually see like where all of my lines are versus when it's just solid black, I can't see everything. Yes, it is a ghost. It's at the very top, right? Isn't it cute? If you guys haven't seen a bamboo leaf before, I'll show you what they look like. There's one brush that I have here that I kind of use as like a reference for this when I'm like drawing the actual like blades of bamboo. Oh, helps if it's not all in white. So bamboo leaves have like a line that, or let me make this a bit bigger so you guys can see it. Oh, it's as big as it gets. Oh. Let me make it bigger so you guys can actually see it. So the actual like leaves of bamboo, they have like these lines in the center. Because bamboo leaves, they have parallel veins to them. Hey Mango, what's up? So when you're drawing, like if you're going to detail bamboo leaves, you don't need to add a ton of detail to them. But I'll show you what I'm going to do. What I'm basically going to do is, you see like there's like that center line from that node, right? Basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in like a maybe a line or two to going down the center. I'll make it very, very light. I'm going to define just a few of these edges, just really, they don't need to be done with like a ton of detail because, you know, this isn't the focus. The bamboo is not the focus, but adding in just some slight details are really going to help it look more alive and more appealing. So that's sort of like my thing with like backgrounds, like how I decide how I want to do them, is I usually add just, and yeah, as you, I don't know if, hopefully you guys can see this, all I'm doing is I'm just adding in very light lines just to help shape the leaves a little bit more. I'm not adding in a ton of detail on them. Oh, nice, nice. Man, last time I played a game was a couple weeks ago. I was playing some Pokemon Scarlet. I've been kind of like goofing around in that game for a really long time, like not actually doing the actual tasks, and I finally went and just like beat the Elite Four. And so now what I have to do is I have to finish up, well, I beat the Elite Four and then beat Nimona. And so now I have to go do the, like, that challenge where you have to, like, go in, like, the crater or whatever. I haven't even done that yet. I'm, like, so far behind on, like, Pokemon Scarlet, because I just don't play games that much. I got a really neat, like, Terra-style Pokemon, though. It was, a Gyarados that can turn into, ice. Which I've been looking for an ice Gyarados for a long time. Right? Yeah? Okay, cool. I'm really excited to go down there. But, yeah, I'm really glad I finally, like, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to get, like, an Ice Terra Gyarados. That way, you know, like, it can actually fight against other dragons and stuff. Because, like, it has the benefit of having dragon moves and, like, a wide variety of, like, moves that are actually good against dragons. You know, but I like having the ice one. So, I thought about I'm still looking for a dragon type Gyarados though, because that way it's like immune to like the electric stuff. But yeah, I found a ghost type Houndour, which was really fun. Like I'm collecting all the like Houndours that I can of like the Terra form stuff, or the Terraform, like the Terra typing. Trying to collect all the Houndours I can get. I've heard a lot about Baldur's Gate. I've heard a lot of people excited about it. I actually bought the original Sonic games for Switch. Like the original games. And I forgot how hard some of those levels were. I forgot how hard that game was. So when I finally take some vacation time off, that's probably what I'll be doing, is I'll be going and playing the original Sonic games. And then I also bought Mario 64, so I'll be like for like, you know, like the classic N64 version. So I'm really excited to get a chance to do that some when I give myself the opportunity to play some games for once. You guys know how bad I am about that. So what I'm having to do is I have to draw in this line here because it doesn't have it already, so I'm having to like manually put this in. And it doesn't necessarily have to make sense necessarily. I mean, as long as it like looks good enough, you'll be fine. So don't stress too much about that. As long as it's believable, that's all that matters. I don't think I've heard a lot about that game yet. Is that a newer one, or is that one that I just like missed and just like forgot about? There's a lot of games that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy that game and play, and then I just never do. That's why I keep telling people I'm not a game person. I forget. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get that game, and then I never do. Like Castlevania, perfect. Oh, I have Okami. I've beaten the hell out of Okami. I already have like you know how you can save like 30 files or something. I've already filled them all up. I already filled them up. Right now with Okami, I'm recording and writing down the Japanese dialogue. I have a script of all of the English dialogue, so right now I'm playing through it when I have downtime, and I'm writing down what the Japanese dialogue is. So, because I want to make that Okami manga of the story. So basically what I'm doing is I'm having to go through and write out the Japanese script. What's really nice though is it makes it pretty easy. I have like a document that I'm making for the Japanese script, and I'm able to type it in using like the kanji. And then what I'm doing is I'm basically like I don't know how to like type Japanese and then have like the furigana above it. I don't know how to do that. So basically what I'm doing is like I write out the kanji, and then I like in parentheses I'll put like what the kana is. That way when I'm making the Japanese version of the Okami manga eventually, I'll be able to do all of it myself. I won't need anyone to translate it for me. So basically I'm figuring out like what the English and Japanese version is. So I have an English version of the script already, the transcript. I just need to get a Japanese version. And that's why like I talked about it and then stopped talking about it. It's because now I'm doing the research part. I'm doing the research part of the Okami manga. And it's taking a long time. Like, I'm also doing, like, character sketches. I'm practicing getting familiar with the style. So I can try to do as best I can to the original artwork. Because I know if I don't do it, people will complain. Right? Oh, you got a game? And you went to NYC? Like, oh. That's a lot of money. Did you pre-order the game? Some of these games are getting expensive now. Hi, Miso. Do you want in your bed, Miso? Do you want to sit in your bed? Oh, nice! Wish list. Okay, cool. I'm glad someone got it for you. That's awesome. That's super cool. Alright, cool. Alright, so that's done. Alright, all of this bamboo should be done now. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm gonna do the final part. I'm gonna take this and then add a slight stroke around it just to sort of help it stand out a little bit. Actually, I'm kind of wondering if that hurts it, not helps it. I don't think it really helps it that much, to be completely honest with you, now that I look at it. That makes sense, that's fair. I mean, I like those games too, I don't have time to play. I have to make manga, I have stuff I have to do. So, like, if I play a game, it's because I'm on, like, a scheduled day off. Like, I schedule my days off. Usually. Unless I'm, like, because I've had 3 teeth pulled in the last 5 weeks or so. Like, I've had to take more days off than I've wanted to, just because either, like the healing process of the pain is just, like, not doing it for me, or I'm just really, really tired. Like, there have been some days I just can't do anything. That's why, like, if I don't stream, I'm not drawing, usually. Just because I just can't get through it. Hi, Miso. No, Miso, you can't have my hand. Your computer exploded? Wow, that's scary. Did it, like, what do you mean, like, exploded? I guess I'm, like, trying to wrap around my mind under this. It exploded? Like, how did that happen? Was it, like, overheating? Yeah, being an adult definitely sucks. Alright, so let's do Aros next. Oh, let me put all these bamboo layers together really quick. I'm going to temporarily keep them separate, just so that I can edit them in the future if I need to. Sketches. I might add more layers. I might add more white to the bamboo later. But I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Alright, let's get this done. Alright, I've only got about another 30 minutes and then I'll need to jump off for the night. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is, right now I have that top beam. I'm gonna save myself some time because I have only a limited number of brain cells left. So what I'm gonna do so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this wood grain. I'm just I have a new layer, right? Yep. I'm basically gonna take this wood grain brush, I'm gonna go boop. Get that done. My mother's went haywire, messed up the RAM, corrupted my files. Aw, damn. You can save a crashed motherboard. Believe me, I've done it. But it can cost some money. That sucks, dude. Alright, see, look. Saved some brain cells today. Got my wood stuff done really quickly. Dun, 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 dun. Yep. Alright, gonna keep that simple because I don't need to do a lot. You lost all the artwork? Were you not regularly backing things up? I've learned that lesson. I've had to learn that lesson. With, like, in regards to, like, backing stuff up. It's a really crappy lesson. It's a lesson I hope you all learn, just not the way that, like, I had to learn it. Oh, yes, yeah, you said you've been sick. Oh, that sucks. Alright, let me see how I drew it before. I'm gonna double check something really quick, guys. Ooh, my voice is going. Goodness gracious. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Actually, yeah, I can just come down here and look. Okay. Alright. Oh, it was a black board. Okay, well that's even easier then. Let's fill that in really quick. I think, yeah. Yep, so this is kind of filled in darkly more. Right, we have 1, 2, 3. Let me actually do that. Mm-hmm. I made my boyfriend laugh because I looked up if it played well on PC, and I was going through all these specific tech terms and going nuts. He simply said, my laptop easily plays it. Oh, that makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I think that... I think it depends. Like, I'm not much of a gaming person, so I have a really hard time enjoying games. And I really don't like games that are, like, super dependent on, like, games that I really have to invest in to get like good at, to be able to get in the game. Like I like casual games. I'm not big on like the like you have to play for 100 hours to get really good at this game. Like I'm not into those kinds of games. Like I have other things to do, and I don't want to have to like sit here and invest 100 hours just to be able to beat like the final boss or something. Like I don't like those kinds of games. I like casual stuff. Because I'm a really busy person, you know? Like, without games, I'm already doing, like, 80 something hours a week, so, like, I don't have time for that. So I like casual gaming. Definitely a casual. That's why I like Pokemon, is, like, it is something that I need to invest a lot of time into, but I can do it without, like, I can do it over a slow period of time. Something like Sonic, I would think would be very similar, because it's just layers, and it's like layers, it's like levels and stuff, so I would think it would be a very similar, like, structure. But, like, there are games like Baldur's Gate or other stuff where, like, it feels like it's a lot of work, and, you know, like, if you want to enjoy them, it feels difficult, personally, but I don't play a lot of those types of games, so maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, I always wanted to try Dark Souls, I always wanted to try, like, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim. I've always wanted to try and play Skyrim. But I'm, like, so afraid of, like, getting sucked into it that I end up, like, not getting my work done. Like, I don't trust myself to, like, not get sucked into a game. I don't trust myself, so I just choose to not play them. I'm, like, afraid of getting addicted to games. Because I used to be like that. I used to play Okami nonstop, and, like, it was affecting my homework and stuff. So, like, I know I can get too invested into games. So I'm, like, really cautious with myself in games now. So I can, like, protect my time. Same thing with anime. Like, if I love, like, for example, I really love Yu Yu Hakusho, right? And I've seen the anime so many times. Same with Dragon Ball. I've watched it so many times. I will sit there and, like, have it on my screen with, like, my canvas open and then not get anything done. So I'm just having too much fun watching it. Brain is bad at the multitasking. So I don't trust myself. At least for me, that's a personal thing. I'm not saying anyone else is that way. I'm just saying, like, that's why I tend to not play games. Can you? Okay, maybe my impression of it is incorrect then, because that wasn't my impression. That makes sense, Mango. Yeah, that makes sense. Games that, like, you can do Oh, hi, Sam. What's up? Yeah, I've heard about that. Animal Crossing is really fun. Like, that's my kind of casual game. That's good to know, yeah. Because I've heard so much about Baldur's Gate. But also, like, games are money. And I have my student loan payments due every month now, and they're like $300. So, like, that's $300 a month going out of my pocket. That isn't going into savings. And I need to save up for moving deposits because I am not going to be renewing my lease. They're already asking me if I want to sign my lease, which doesn't start until next July. It's October, and they're wanting me to sign a lease that doesn't start until July. No. No, fam. I'm not living that far in advance. That's stupid. I know why they do that here, because there's a lot of college kids that live in this building. So that's why they do it. But I don't like living 9 months in advance. Like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 9 months. Like, what if I need to move for work? I don't know. I don't want to be stuck into another lease. So I'm just going to take my chances and move once this lease ends. Hopefully I'm not going to get kicked in the butt with, like, insanely high rents. And hopefully I can get a 1-bedroom. There's a couple 1-bedrooms in my area that I could probably afford. So I'm going to see if I can find a 1-bedroom so I can have an actual bedroom and not like a studio. I don't mind a studio, to be honest, but like it's starting to like I really hate my bed being 5 feet away from my desk, because the temptation to work is so real. It's like, oh well, it's right there, it'll be fine. Like my workaholic issues are coming back. So much hatching. So what kind of goals do you guys have this week? Does anyone have any like Halloween plans they're looking forward to? I don't have anything planned for Halloween because I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat solid foods by then. So I'm not really making any plans. Also have like a bunch of like manga stuff I have to get done by the end of the month, so I don't know if I have even had the time for Halloween parties this year. I don't even remember the last time I went to a Halloween party. It's been a really long time. Sounds cool. I'll definitely have to, like, maybe I can do that over the holiday. My holiday break is maybe get Boulder. But I might just go play Mario some. Or play Okami somewhere. Get that transcript made. And see, now I have an excuse to play Okami because now I'm actually working while I play Okami, so it works out. Really? Wow, what a day to be born. Not gonna lie, that's a pretty badass birthday to have. If like Halloween is like your favorite holiday, like what a badass birthday to have. I suspect it has like similar problems to other people born on holidays, where like your birthday just kind of gets like mashed into the holiday sometimes. Does she have that issue where she's like, oh, I want it to be about me and not Halloween for once? Like, does she have that problem? I was born really close to Father's Day weekend, and so a lot of the times Father's Day and my birthday were celebrated together. So, because usually my birthday falls around Father's Day. So usually we just celebrate both. My uncle has the same issue. He was born, I think he was born on Mother's Day. When he was born. So usually like Mother's Day and his birthday were always celebrated together, and he didn't like that. Nice. Oh, that's good. That's good. She's a good sport about it then. That's awesome. That's so cool. Halloween is actually the anniversary of my YouTube channel. So for me, Halloween will always be some form of like celebration about the channel. What I'd like to do, I don't know if I'm going to get to do it now. I did post about it. I was hoping to do a special stream to celebrate the anniversary of the channel. I'll have to see like what I can do, because now I'm not sure if I'll be able to like have that time to do like a longer stream. I might do like a shorter one to like go over some old art. Like I made a poll about it in my community tab. So we'll see what I end up having time for, just with like my other obligations. I have about 40 pages of sketches that I have to get done between now and preferably the first of the month, which is a lot. That's why I'm going to be doing a shorter stream tonight, as I want to get that process started. Yeah. Plus, I'm also just really tired. I don't know how much energy I'm going to have for that, so... And I don't want to stream that process. Like, my first drafts are like a pretty private process. Like, I did it yesterday with the pages that you guys see on the left. But I feel like that's also really boring to watch, because, like, they're not final pages. They're, like, just the rough sketches. And I feel like maybe that's a little boring to watch. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like maybe they're a little bit boring. I feel like this hatching is definitely boring to watch. It's not as exciting, but for some reason when I use a brush for this specific type of hatching, it just never looks as good. Yeah? Yeah, for me, it's sort of like a, like, oh, I want this, no, I want this. Ooh, I want this, no, I want this instead. Ooh, I want that, no, I want this. Like, it's a very back and forth process for me. I'm literally like talking myself through it when I'm doing my sketches, and so it's a very like back and forth. I want this, no, I want this. I want this, no, wait, no, I want this. It's very much like a back and forth process. So it's not like I'm getting any beautiful pictures done. It's very chaotic doing the first pass. Because what you see there on the left is a first pass. Like, it needs to be cleaned up before I can ink it. But it just gives me a basic idea of, like, where everything is. Before I start, like, getting into the weeds of it. Of, like, figuring out exactly, like, what I want. Like, I already have the script and stuff, which is what you see in, like, the upper left corner there. It's, like, it's just, like, a bunch of words. So that's my script. And I'm keeping it small so you guys can't see everything. So... Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm kind of just adding some fluff here. Trying to connect some of these places where like they disconnect a little bit to make it feel a bit more organic and not so rigid and forced. So I'm kind of just throwing in some stuff here to like mix it up a little bit. Just make it feel handmade because it is handmade. And what I do to save time, instead of having to go like constantly flip my color, is I just select the color. Like I select white, select black, select white, select black. Plus I have everything in monochrome, so no matter what colors I pick, I mean it's only gonna draw in black or white anyway. I do that on purpose, and then if I need to have like a white or like a blue, like this blue layer here, I can just turn on color, and it'll make it a blue layer for me. Or I can make it a blue layer. Generally, I do that. That way, there's no accidental like color in my stuff. Other than like what I want to be color. I don't like trust my program to be monochrome on its own. Or like I don't trust my brushes to not accidentally have grays in them or any artwork I might import, so I just always have it set to monochrome unless I need a color layer, and then I'll manually change it. Alright, and then here, this is going to be the edge. This is going to be at the very bottom here. We can see there's like a little bit of an edge with some straw. And then on this middle one, where the who is, we can actually see there's a little bit of that edge here. That's what I'm putting in right now, is like that edge. Whoops. Sorry guys. Wrong button. Let's smooth out some of this stuff here. I'm almost done. Because there's like they're not stringy, they're not like straight up like cut, and they're probably also worn down from age. I'm not making them too exact. Just to keep it looking more organic. And that's the thing, is like a lot of times you're suggesting texture, you're not having to draw out every little thing. I know this looks like I drew out every single little thing, but there's no way, because this is a thatched roof. There's no way I've drawn like every single little individual straw here. So I've just kind of like loosely drawn in a lot of these things to like suggest this texture, right? So I'm going to filling in some of this area here, and then I'll be going over it with white in a minute to break it up a bit. To make it look a little bit more organic. Alright, so I'm going to grab my white, I'm going to add in some, like basically what I'm doing is I'm crossing through it, so to kind of, like I'll draw this larger. So we have some, you know, some lines like this down at the very bottom. What I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm purposely like going against that angle to make it look like there are some that are like sticking out, or maybe some that are like bent, you know, or frayed, basically, is what I'm doing down here. Just to make it look a little bit more like real, I guess. Because that's going to happen naturally when you have something like a thatched roof. Not all gonna lay down super flat perfectly. It just helps break up the texture a little bit. And it's like those like little touches that can like add a lot to it. And I can do the same thing if I go in with black and like add in some more of that, just to show like, oh hey, like there's some parts that are sticking up here. Yeah, it's hard to see with something like this small, but it's really important. So, what I'll do is I'll grab a screenshot and I'll show you guys. Like I'll get I'll zoom in here and then I'll grab a screenshot for y'all. Give me 1 second. Hi, Miso. Yeah. File, new from clipboard. Alright, so now you guys can see sort of how I've done this detail. I've gone in and I have like all these nice straight lines. Let me wait for it to catch up. There it is. And then I've gone in and sort of like gone like this, basically, just smaller, throughout, basically. So you guys can see what I've done. Yeah, Miso. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Yeah, Miso. Yeah, oh yeah. Miso ASMR that nobody asked for. Let's see. Miso. Yeah, you say hi? Yeah? What? Rubbing her face all over the mic. Sorry. Well, it's texture, and that's the thing about textures, is textures aren't about drawing every single tiny little thing. There's actually a name for that technique. It's called the hair of the dog. Like, I'll just write it out so you guys can see what I mean. Like, I'll just write out the name of it. It's a technique where you go in and you basically draw like every little detail. Dustin is one of those people that does that, to a degree. Dustin kind of does something like that. Dustin's work is incredibly detailed. But when you are working in something like manga and you have to consider like your tight deadlines, like it doesn't benefit you necessarily to go in and do all of that detail when it's not necessary. If it's just gonna muddy everything, because I mean, thinking about it, the size that you guys see the page. Let me turn off all the purple. So when you guys see a page like this, let me like recenter this. Like when you see a page like this, there's a lot of detail that you're not gonna see. So like, why add in all this detail if you're not gonna see any of it? You know what I mean? The other thing I want you guys to notice is the angles that I used very intentionally. So let me bring this up here, just to make my point. So, what I did, and I did this on purpose, this was an experiment. I don't know how well it's working, so we're gonna find out. We have a funnel shape here. Which, I mean, we have a funnel shape here. Like, basically forcing you to go this and then going out this way. Right? So that's the idea. Called bathtub chin. Yeah, in our school we called it the hair of the dog. At least that's what they called it. But the other thing is the perspective for these match. I don't know if you guys noticed I did that. It's not, I mean, it's basically what I did is I used the perspective from this panel and I used it for this panel. In a weird way, it does create kind of a tangent, but it feels more cohesive to me. I don't know if it's like, if it feels weird to you guys, but I did do that on purpose. It's alcohol. It's like homemade alcohol, basically. But anyway, so I have... Miso, would you stop getting into my stuff? Anyway, so I have a nice funnel shape here, bringing the action in here, and then we go boop, and then notice his hair meets this. So basically I have like this nice funnel action that brings you down this way, and then spits you back out this way. And then here we have a really similar thing here where we have sort of like a funnel leading you down. This is the direction, the reading direction. He's walking down this way. And then I change it here where it's like, oh, boom! Like this is gonna be like a filled in shadow here. This is gonna be all shaded in. This is gonna be like his silhouette. Yeah. So we have like this kind of here stopping it. This is a very like thin panel. This kind of changes things. But what I did here is I kind of like these have like a similar perspective basically. They're also like level. What I might do is I might move this bird up a little bit just so that it's not perfectly level. Or I might zoom out, make it a little bit smaller. I haven't decided quite yet. I don't like how it's perfectly level. But that's something that I kind of noticed looking at my next pass. Or I might change this. I might have it be like more so that it's looking like he's walking towards us. So this might end up being like a first point perspective thing where like here's the cliff. And then he's walking and then like we see like his foot lean off. Like this maybe. I don't know. Like I might change it to something like that. Or I might like actually like show him slipping. I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, homemade alcohol killed tons and tons, killed thousands of people. Homemade alcohol killed easily thousands of people. The problem is a lot of people back then didn't know like what like they didn't understand the chemistry of making alcohol, like a lot of the homemade stuff. For example, if you distill wood, which was something a lot of people had, right? They had wood houses, so they would distill their furniture. They would distill parts of their house. They would distill anything they could get their hands on. And when you distill wood specifically, in like certain organic matters, it can make methanol, which if you drink methanol will destroy your eyesight and eventually kill you. And unfortunately, like, there isn't really like, you can't really save yourself from like methanol poisoning. So Prohibition killed a lot of people. They also were like denaturing alcohol. And so they would like, what they would do is they would mix like regular alcohol with denatured alcohol, so like rubbing alcohol or something. They would mix it to get their alcohol to go further in like these speakeasies. And it killed people. Or it would make them ill. It literally would, I mean, alcohol literally to begin with is poison. It's literally processed through the liver. That's why you get cirrhosis in alcoholics. It's because alcohol, while it's something your body can process, it's still like essentially a toxin. And damages your body over time if you drink too much. Yeah. That's why it got repealed. Because it was killing too many people. Yeah. In fact, the one of the leading coroner, I believe in New York at the time, there's a whole documentary about this. The leading coroner in New York actually created a methanol test for police. So that way, when they would find these things or find these people that are ill, they could test the alcohol on the spot to know if it was methanol. People were literally dipping. What they would do is they would dump the alcohol in the streets, and people would like soak their shirts in the alcohol in the streets, and then to try to save it, wherever they could. It was awful. There was also like a much higher rate of like people killing each other for like insurance. like right before that time and right after that time, because right after Prohibition you had the Great Depression. So like that, like the 20s and 30s were really awful for a lot of reasons. Well, the late 20s, sorry, the late 20s and 30s were pretty awful in general. Yeah, you go blind. Eventually, if you drink too much of it, it'll rob you blind. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of my idea behind like the flow of this page. So I hope you guys liked that. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. It is 10:30. I still need to eat dinner. I have to be way more careful with my food now when I eat dinner, because I have to eat slowly because I do have a gaping hole in my jaw now, where I had the tooth pulled yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. God, that was yesterday. So I'm gonna go make something easy for me to eat. Probably some scrambled eggs and some Greek yogurt or something. Maybe a smoothie. Might make a smoothie. So I'm gonna go get something to eat. And then I've got some other stuff I gotta do tonight. And I have a limited amount of energy today, so sorry it's a really short stream tonight, guys. I just want to be sure I save my energy. I'm really tired. So thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I will definitely see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, have a wonderful time. Ciao!